All right, shalom, shalom. On the start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Wahalakak, Wadash. On the saying, give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect elders of Great Millstone. Lord willing, with some of those men and women that believe in fear in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, patiently waiting for the day of our salvation, the day of our redemption. Here I'm the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another lesson. And this lesson was inspired by several things, but mainly a movie I was watching, Independence Day 4, and well, ID4 is what it's called, right? ID4, which is really Independence Day from like 1996. And it just, when watching a movie, it just made me think about all these other so-called alien movies, including War of the World, right? You see, this is a clip right here. Somebody posted up, says Yahawashi, the War of the Worlds, 1953 ended, right? And this was during the height of so-called racism in America. This is in the 50s. And Esau dropped little hints in these movies, and they show particular things. Mind you, these are a bunch of Edomites in the church. Supposedly, they're praying to the white Jesus, right? And I believe, like, I try to look for it, this exact scene. I don't know if they took it out or they edited it out or whatever, but in the the original 1953 version, you actually see this image of Yahawashi. And we know this is not, that's not Moses, it's not any of the disciples, that's not any of the so-called Catholic saints. Like, this is Yahawashi with the white afro, the white woolly beard, the dark skin, right? And they had him posted up. This is not Saint Maurice, right? It's not that. Like, this is Yahawashi here. And it was a glimpse of it. And so rather than Esau being, because Esau's a liar, right? He wants the world to believe that those the beings that operate the chariots are what they call aliens, right? Or green slimy aliens. It's always it's either a green slimy alien or some type of horde beast, like in ID4 Resurgence. It was a so-called an ugly monster that they were so smart they created these vehicles to travel and these suits, right? And all he did was go to different places to steal the resources and then leave. And that's what Esau does, right? Esau does that. Esau, he's the real plague of the earth, right? They invade places that don't belong to them, and they take their resources and they enslave or kill the people, right? But those images are not true. And that's also mind manipulation too, as well. So when you see the chariots, you automatically associate them with so-called aliens. Like here, right here, they got a clip right here on the side. It says AI, artificial intelligence, awakening beyond humanity, and they show you these weird-looking beings. They're kind of humanoid because they have similar humanoid bodies, but they typically they're no face, no ethnicity, none of that. And that's not the case. The angels are so-called black men, right? The angels are dark skinned. That's a heavenly pigmentation to look like us. But they told us here on this earth that it's a curse to be our color, and it's not. It's really a curse to be an Edomite. And so the title of the lesson is Esau will not win against Yahawashi, right? You can make all these different movies from War of the Worlds. What defeated the so-called aliens in War of the Worlds, right? It was basically the common code, right? And that's not going to happen with the angels. It's definitely not going to happen with Yahawashi, right? Nothing that these devils can do, no kind of technology that they have, are they going to come out the victor? Because we have the script. That's the Bible. We have the word. And the scripture says in the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 9, before some guy come on here and say, oh, you guys ranting, where the scriptures at? Well, niggas, shut up and listen, right? And let the spirit flow. This is 2nd Esdras 6 and 9, right? And it reads, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau, Edom, he's the end of the world that we currently live in. Look at this shit, right? World of worlds, evolution of Martians. So they always had these things, these insectoids looking creatures. It's the same thing with ID4, right? ID4 resurgence, aliens, right? And this is what they look like: semi-humanoid, insectoid looking creatures, right? This is what they want you to believe that the angels look like, and they don't look nothing like this. And it really inside these bodies, these suits, right? It's this little alien thing, That's what they had you people thinking, like half a body, but they're so smart that they could be beat with a Trojan horse virus, or taking control of the ships, technology and using it against them. And you Edomites, you ain't gonna be able to do that with us, right? Only time they show like a humanoid people coming off of the chariots was just, I don't know if brother's old enough, but there was a show called back in the day called Alien Nation, right? And everybody was an Edomite on here. Alien Nation TV series. It was a movie, but they ended up making it a series, a TV series, right? These shits right here. So everybody's an Edomite. These so-called refugees coming from a whole different planet with these weird-looking heads, and they get drunk off of sour milk. And this guy falls in love with an alien. This is shit. The men get pregnant, right? Yeah, the men in the show get pregnant, not the women. So this shit is all off. But these comes from the minds of the Edomite. They don't want you to know that, again, those beings that fly those chariots are so-called black. In fact, there was a man, I wish I remember his name. Scientist says aliens black. I forget this guy's name. Some old dude. This old dude, forget his name, but he was being interviewed by a woman, and she said if there are beings controlling these ships, then they must look like something. And he said there's a picture in somewhere on one of these military bases, and he said that the beings that came off of it were black. She said, so they look like us? He said, no, black, right? And they were like conservative height would be like I think he said like 8 feet, 7 feet tall, something like that, real tall, right? But when Esau make these movies, these videos, and even these so-called intelligence people, what are they doing? Everything is just these things, insectoids, right? You know, the pictures of aliens. You niggas never seen the angels, man, like that. The elite have, but they don't tell you about it. They want the people to believe. I wish I knew this dude's name. It's kind of like on my tongue, but I can't remember it. They want the people to believe that, the angels are these wild-looking beings, right? Let's see. Come on, man. Y'all just bear with me, brothers. Yeah, they want you to believe it's either Edomites or insectoid type things, some Marvin the Martian type shit. And that's not the case. Come on, bro. Anyway, so let's go back to this. Again, for Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning of it that followed, right? Because Esau, he's ruling right now via the banking families, the elite banking families, right? And on down. And they're the end of the world of the heathen, right? And the world that comes behind that is the world of Jacob, the Israelites. So it ain't no insectoid aliens coming to the earth to destroy the earth and take it over. And no, it's going to be actual men, starting with the Yahawashi himself, the only begotten son of the Most High, right? He's coming back to do what? He's going to enslave the world. He's going to free his people, enslave the nations, destroy their militaries, destroy their infrastructure. The system is going to be destroyed when Yahawashi comes back. Your military is being dragged over there into the Middle East, into this third world war, the last world war to ever happen on the earth, right? Because after this, there ain't gonna be no more wars, and Yahawashi is gonna come back in the midst of that war. And just like they show in that movie Independence Day, how like all the nations came together when when the so-called aliens came back. all the nations came together, and they put away their differences, and they linked up with each other, and they try to fight the son of the Most High. Man, I wish I could do this. I want to call him Benjamin Freeman. I know it ain't Benjamin Freeman, but I can't remember the guy that had the image that spoke about the image of the angels, man. But they definitely said it. They look like so-called African Americans, not Hamites, not Japhites, not Moabites, and damn sure not Edomites. They look like so-called Negroes here in America. The angels, dark-skinned men, and they're men. They're not women, right? And you're gonna take the world, man. So I'm gonna play this clip real quick. This shows you. Well, I ain't gotta play this. I'll pause it right here. This is from 1953. Again, a time in America where they was extremely racist toward the sons and daughters of Israel, namely the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes. But yet in their movie, they put Yahawashi right there, right? And then they went right back to the aliens dying, the chariots invading the cities, and then somehow, some way, Esau was able to come out on top. All the time, Esau comes out on top. Matter of fact, let me ask chat, why in most movies depicting aliens does the human, the water, my brother, it might be Dr. Norman Berggren. That's him. The water, my brother. Aliens. I'm gonna look that clip up. Why in most movies depicting aliens does the human or white people, mainly white people, always come out the victor over superior technology, right? So I asked this question: why in most movies depicting aliens does humans or white people always come out the victor over superior technology? That's an interesting observation, and there are a few reasons why this is such a common pattern in science fiction, particularly in Hollywood. First, stories usually favor the protagonist. But Esau really is the antagonist. Yahawashi is a protagonist. The elect are the protagonists. In the story of Yahawashi in the Bible, the book, we're the protagonists. We're not the antagonists. Esau is, right? But yet in his movies, in his films, he's always a protagonist. One of you brothers can post that precept, surely a turn of the things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. He turns up everything upside down. He's the protagonist in his story. But in reality, he's really the antagonist. First, stories usually favor the protagonist. If the main characters are human, audiences generally expect them to overcome overwhelming odds. This is a narrative convention that goes back thousands of years from David and Goliath to modern action. Well, David and Goliath were both humans, but Yahweh gave David the victory over Goliath, man. The appeal comes from seeing an underdog succeed against seemingly unbeatable opponent. Well, guess what? In the real script, we're the underdogs. Who is our opponent? The so-called white man, starting with the banking families. They're the ones with all the resources. They got all the militaries. They got all the people to sell out. They control all politicians, all governments. In reality, it looks like we can't overcome them. But in reality, according to the word of Yahawashi, we are going to overcome you devils, man. We already have through Yahawashi, but he's going to physically do it when he comes back, right? So it says, the appeal comes from seeing the underdog succeed against a seemingly unbeatable opponent. Second, most mainstream alien invasion films are produced by American studios, so they often reflect an American perspective. The heroes are frequently Americans, and because the cast of older Hollywood films were predominantly white, the lead heroes often were as well. That's more reflection on the film industry history than statements about reality. Third, these movies often emphasize the human qualities such as creativity, adaptability, sacrifice, cooperation, and persistence. Can compensate for technological inferiority. No, it can't. It can't. It's not going to. You Edomites, you already tried to exploit our weakness. You have. What was our weaknesses? Sin and iniquity. And you exploited that to the hills. You made a world where sin and iniquity is readily available and accessible on high levels, including idolatry, which is sin. But they made that a normative thing here in this world that we live in. And it strikes against the Israelites, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And that's why when Yahawashi comes, he's going to give us a new body where our bodies won't be given unto sin. That's why the scripture says we're going to be changed. So here it is. All this stuff is happening right now. And that's what I was thinking when I was watching this movie, ID4. This movie right here, ID4. Right, when I was watching this movie, when I was watching this movie earlier this week, that's what came to my mind. They worried about aliens invading this place, but you already have the Israelites here in captivity, which you would call us aliens. An alien is nothing more than a stranger, somebody that somewhere that they don't belong, that they're not from, right? A foreign land. We were forced, our languages were taken from us, our culture, our history were taken from us. It was the will of Yahawashi, but he used the nations to do it. So what they do, they changed us to make us to conform to their way, first through brutality, then through convenience, then through accessibility. That's what they did, right? You don't have to worry about a foreign force, a foreign nation dropping out of the sky. We're already here. And how do we know that? Even Ronald Reagan said it. Ronald Reagan said, is not there a alien force among us already? And then he tried to switch it up and says, an alien, what do you say? An alien was more alien to us than war, right? Ronald Reagan, the devil himself. Yeah, the alien threat speech. But we're that alien threat. Check this out.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
So this guy, let me play that again. I had to step away from the computer. Let me play that again.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity.
Right, and they don't count us, the Israelites, as members of humanity because they do crimes against humanity. And that's the thing. Here it is, Esau, all he does is bring war, terror, destruction, murder, death, kill, still. And then they want to talk about humanity as if it's a separate thing. But when they talk about humanity, they're not talking about the encompassing world. They're talking about them people, their people.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
And that outside universal threat to Esau's universal system is Yahawashi. Is Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. Right? The one that they didn't tell us about Yahawashi. They didn't give us the truth about the word, about the Bible. They gave us Jesus Christ, the white guy. Right? They gave you God. That's just a ambiguous name or title for the power. They didn't give you the understanding of the Most High. They didn't give you an understanding of Yahawashi. They didn't tell you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, that you are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, and that all those miraculous things that the Heavenly Father did for us via His Son, right, showing His power, delivering us. That was for us. He did that for us. He did that for His namesake first, and then He did it for us. But these Edomites, they want you to believe that you don't have no power, They want you to believe that your power don't even exist.
To make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat.
And that alien threat is Yahawashi. They'll say he's coming from another world, but he's coming from the spiritual world. He's coming from another dimension, not another planet. He's coming from the spirit world, where all of us have been there before, including Esau. He goes there, we all go there when we pass away on this side. Well, Yahawashi, the Most High, is about to send Yahawashi back to merge it. So he's coming back. He's going to bring it from the spirit world, and he's bringing an armada. And the armada is already here. You see the chariots all in the sky, flooding the sky, but you're going to see it full frontal without any commercial interruptions. You're going to have to just watch it on TV. You're going to see it right in your face. You're going to see it. You're going to see him. The scripture says what? All eyes shall see him. Let me get that. Right? Revelation 1 and 7. Revelation 1 and 7. Okay, Revelation 1 and 7 says, behold, he cometh with clouds. And it's not talking about cumulus clouds. It's talking about the chariots. And every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced him. And all kingdoms of the earth shall well because of him. Even so, amen. And they're not going to be crying in joy. The only ones that's going to be crying with joy and praise and fear at the same time is the elect of Israel. Right? But these nations, they're going to be sick. They're going to be scared as shit. Right? And the AMP it says, behold, he is coming with the clouds. Every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. Right? Those men that stabbed him by his body when he was hanging on that cross, they're back here in the reincarnation, and they're going to pay. And all the tribes, nations of the earth will mourn over him, realizing their sin and guilt. Their sin and guilt against what? Against the Lord and his people. What they did to his people. They're going to see Yahawashi, a so-called black man, brimming with anger and fury. And they're going to be like, oh shit, we messed up. You called us niggers, you called us monkeys, you called us wetbacks, you called us Indians, Tontos, you put us in slavery, you oppressed us, you made your system so corrupt against us that we couldn't even survive. We could barely survive in it if it wasn't for Yahawashi. You took everything from us, right? You abused us, you exploited us, right? You made sin a commonality amongst our people, right? You went far and beyond what the Lord expected you to do when he gave us to you in your hands. So it says again, behold, he's in the AMP, behold, he is coming with clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes, nations of the earth will mourn over him, realizing their sin and guilt, and anticipating what? The coming wrath. Because when Yahawashi come, when these people see Yahawashi, they're going to know that his wrath is coming. That's how he speaks to the nations. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath. That's how Yahawashi is going to speak to you nations, man. Right? Psalms 2 and 5. That's how he speaks to you nations. Right? He speaks to us through the prophets. And he speaks to the nations through the prophets because we here to tell you what's going to happen to you too, but he directly speaks to us through the prophets and his word, and really chiefly through his son, Yahawashi, and the Holy Spirit. But you nations, you don't get that conversation. You don't get the conversation to repent and be healed and made anew. You don't get that. That gospel ain't for you. That's only for the Israelites. When the Lord speaks to you, again, this is Psalms 2 and 4. He that sitteth in the heavens, shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath. Matter of fact, let me start at the top. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? When you see movies like ID4, what's that other movie we was talking about? World of Worlds. These type movies, this is all raging. Right? This is all hype. They got to hype themselves up. Those are all vain things, right? Every time Esau in a so-called space movie, he's the winner. He comes over. Here it is. You have inferior technology. You have inferior minds. You have inferior bodies, but yet you're able to overcome a superior power that coming from the heavens. That's not true. That is what they call, what the scriptures call, a vain thing. You think you're going to rule forever? You're going to switch over your system to the new world order and have it really on blast and shit the whole world, right? Cause all this chaos and disinformation and lies and robbery. Hold on. So these nations, they're imagining a vain thing. All these Hollywood depictions of the angels being these weird looking creatures, these big head monsters. What is it called? Martian. It was a movie about Mars when Mars attacks, right? That's cat, man. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Right? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord, Yahawashi, and against his anointed. And that's what they're doing. Right? When Reagan had this conversation, these are the rulers of the earth taking counsel amongst each other. And this is what they showed. This ain't their whole conversation when the cameras is off. Right? Their whole conversation, they sitting there laughing at G, clapping their hands. And these people, they move like they can't die. They move like they're not human. They act like they're gods, and they're not. They're just men. Right? Ronald Reagan died. That nigga went to the spirit world, had a couple strokes, I believe. Let me see. Did Ronald Reagan have a stroke? He did not have a stroke. Ronald Reagan did not have a stroke. He officially diagnosed with Alzheimer's. But yet you acting like you a god. You had Alzheimer's disease in 1994, 5 years after leaving office, and passed away from pneumonia related to the disease in 2004. So this dude, he was nothing but a man. But while he was on the earth, he was walking around like he was the emperor of the earth. Right? And the same thing goes with the Rothschild, the Rockefellers. David Rockefeller died. Jacob Rothschild died. Evelyn the Rothschild died, supposedly. Right? But yet when they were on the earth, they were moving with impunity, like they were God. They were claiming to be, and they weren't. So again, it says, and the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh. That's what the UN is all about. That's what NATO is all about. That's what the Space Force is all about. All of that shit is these people trying to take counsel against the Most High and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. And when you read this in the NLT to AMP, it says the NLT is better. Let us break their chains. What are the chains? These laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? Let us break their chains. They cry and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. So these nations, they don't want us, they don't want to be in slavery unto the Most High. And it ain't just the Heavenly Father, his only begotten Son by himself. It's going to be through his people. They don't want to be in slavery towards under us. So what they do, they breaking the cords. They keeping Jake at a lower state. It's like Lex Luthor, right? Esau is like Lex Luthor, right? And he got, I don't know how he got it, but he got all his hands on all of that, what you call that shit? Kryptonite, right? The kryptonite. And he kept using it to exploit Superman, to keep him at a lower state, because he didn't want him to overcome. Mind you, Lex Luthor was powerless. He had a wicked mind, an evil mind, but come on, bro. He was still powerless without his machines and technology. He's nothing. And when Yahawashi comes back, he's going to strip you Edomites of all of that, and you're going to be nothing. Right? So it says, I'm sorry. It says, yep. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahawashi and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. They don't want to be in slavery. He that sitteth, and then you got niggas trying to defend it. Oh, you shouldn't have slaves. No, nigga, they gone. That's a part of the script. Whatever you're saying, it don't matter because it's not in the script. You niggas, you just an NPC, a non-playable character. You 2/3 trying to hold up Esau. You're a non-player. You're insignificant. The only time you get used is when the main characters are given the script to use it against you and speak about you. But in reality, you're not a main character. You got main character syndrome, but you ain't the main characters. You non-playable characters. All the other nations, they're NPCs. The real antagonist is Esau, Edom, who's come in the spirit of Satan. And the protagonists are the Israelites, the elect, who come in the spirit of Yahawashi and the spirit of truth. Right? Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision. Because he is. The Most High created you. He created all you beings, and he created you through his son. Yahawashi is the creator of all of this through the power of his father, Yahweh. And you acting like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this to his people. We're going to murder them. We're going to kill them. We're going to chip them up. They're going to be our slaves forever in perpetuity. They're going to own nothing and be happy. We're going to really keep them in the ghetto. We're going to keep them so oppressed that they can't even get up. No more thinking about the American dream, owning a house, buying a car, being an individual. Those days are over, according to Esau. Right? He wants you in straight up digital slavery, man, living on restrictions for the rest of your miserable lives. Right? Living with what they call that shit? Rations. Right? While he sits up and eats all the real shit, he gives you lab-made shit. He already doing it. But now he gonna make that the only choice. Well, there ain't no choice. He wants to control you. He wants to have total control over you as if he's worthy of that control, and he's not. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. The word for derision there in the Hebrew, right, is la'aig, which is what? A mock, the ridicule, right? To deride. Most High is mocking you devils, man. Right? He showed these movies, that's a mockery because you ain't gonna win. No way, no how. Verse 5, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. The Most High, that's how he gonna speak to you nations, man. Right? In the NLT, then in anger he rebukes them, terrifying them with his fierce fury. When Yahawashi comes, it's going to terrify these people, man. In the AMP, then he will speak to them in his profound anger and terrifying them with his displeasure. That's right. Right, that's right. And that's what you nations, you in fear of, man. You in complete fear of that. Right, let me go back to this video.
To make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Well, how is that alien when all you see in the world is war? America's been at war for over 230 years of its existence. For over 200 of that shit, man. All Esau do is use war, corrupt people and corrupt nations and steal their resources. How is that alien? What he's talking about is the elect of Israel. He's talking about Yahawashi. That's why he wanted Ronald Reagan Star Wars program. What is his Star Wars program? Check this out. It's a strategic defense initiative, man. They claim it's for other countries, but in reality, it's against Yahawashi.
This projection of the president's vision.
Banning into space, a layered defense to protect the country from nuclear devastation. U.S.
Which they know that Yahweh, Bashem Yahawashi, is going to use those nuclear missiles for his will. That's what they're created for. The Lord said he's going to open up his armory. These Edomites believe that these militaries belong to themselves and them only. They believe that those missiles were a creation of their scientists and of their will. They believe that they have the cause and the ability to stop them from being launched and destroying America. But they lying. They lying to themselves. They don't have that. The Lord put that spirit on you. The scripture says, he created the smith that blew up the coal and the fire. Right? He gave these German scientists the inspiration to build these weapons of mass destruction, man. The real WMDs. And now Esau, you want to create a satellite, basically a satellite, what do they call them shits? Force field around our earth to stop it.
Artist projection of the president's vision.
Banning into space, a layered defense to protect the country from nuclear devastation. U.S. spy satellites would watch the world below, detect Soviet missiles blasting off, compute the position and speed of each missile, alert battle stations in space, on Earth. The first response, space-based kinetic energy weapons fire high-speed projectiles from hypervelocity guns. Space-based kinetic energy weapons fire high-speed projectiles from hypervelocity guns.
They got these things and they there to fight against the Lord.
Intercepting enemy missiles as they are boosted through the atmosphere. Popped up into space, Earth-based nuclear-powered X-ray lasers fire their radioactive rays. Attack rays from land-based excimer lasers are redirected by huge mirrors orbiting in space. Chemical lasers fire beams that burn through the shell of the onrushing missile. Particle beam weapons with pulsing rays join the attack.
Particle beams. This shit ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna stave off the inevitable.
Still over the atmosphere, the missile bust ejects its cargo, multiple nuclear warheads. As the remaining Soviet missiles now arc towards the U.S., ground-based projectiles are volleyed into space. Their giant steel ribs shatter the enemy weapons. The final minute. The surviving warheads enter the atmosphere above the United States, are attacked by laser.
You notice that this so-called Star Wars program is to protect the United States. But the Lord said that this place is going to be destroyed. This place, it ain't no hell in Babylon. It ain't no saving this place. Right? You can get all the sellout Negroes you want and Latinos you want. It ain't going to save America. You can try to control the narrative and change it. It ain't going to save America. Like this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, Yahawashi's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon has suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted even up unto the sky. So you got a lot of people right now trying to leave in America because they see the demise of this place. Those that can afford it, right? They're leaving. They're getting out of here. They know what was about to happen to this place, right? But ain't no Star Wars program going to stop the inevitable, which is Babylon the Great being burned by nuclear fire and being overcome with chariot fire and by the hand of Yahawashi. And Yahawashi is coming to America. He coming here from the east, right? He going to destroy the militaries in the Middle East. He coming directly here. And it ain't going to take him that long because it's only going to take 1 hour for this place to be destroyed. 1 hour, that's it.
With planes, Earth-based lasers and ABM rockets eliminate the last warheads.
The administration's original claim for the Strategic Defense Initiative was that it would be a perfect.
Yeah, so, that's his plan. That was his plan, to try to stave off the judgment, but you can't do it. You can't do it. And one dude said that. You can't do it. So anyway, going back into the chat, it says, these movies often emphasize human qualities such as creative, adaptability, sacrifice, cooperation, or persistence, can compensate for technological inferiority Examples include Independence Day. Humans exploit a weakness in the alien computer systems. First of all, how you gonna get into the angels' computer system? First of all, you can't even get in the chariots, bro. You ain't gonna touch no systems. War of the Worlds. Humanity doesn't defeat the invaders militarily. Microorganisms do. There's no microorganism that can defeat Yahawashi and the heavenly angels. Edge of Tomorrow. Victory depends on learning and persistence rather than superior weapons. Signs. The aliens have a biological vulnerability. We ain't gonna have no vulnerability. The only vulnerability we have, like the one brother said, the kryptonite is sin. We ain't gonna have that no more. Our body's gonna be changed. In many of these stories, the aliens aren't actually defeated because humans have better technology. Instead, they're defeated by an overlooked weakness. There are no overlooked weaknesses to Yahweh or Yahawashi or the heavenly hosts of angels. They're perfect. Overconfidence. Well, your overconfidence defeats Yahawashi? Absolutely not. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock. That's the Edomites, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Your pride is deceiving you if you think that your overconfidence is going to help you. That's or some overlooked weakness. No. Environmental factors. Nope. And extraordinary human ingenuity. You don't have that. It also worth noting that not all alien films end with humans winning. There are many where humanity loses, barely survives, or the ending is ambiguous. Well, the ending of the heathen rulership, it's not going to be ambiguous. It ain't going to be the system not going to barely survive. It's going to be destroyed, right? This is Alien. The humans suffer devastating losses. The ending is famously uncertain. Life, the alien prevails. Cloverfield, humanity appears overwhelmed. Nope, victory is costly and depends on understanding the creature rather than overpowering it. As for your point about white people always coming out the victor, there is a broader discussion in film studies about representation. Early Hollywood often centered white people protagonists because of the demographic of the industry and its target audience at the time. In recent decades, however, there has been noticeable increase in films with more diverse lead characters. Even so, the central narrative pattern remains the same. Regardless of the protagonist's background, the main characters are typically written to survive or win because audiences generally expect a satisfying resolution. Well, we're going to get our satisfying resolution when this place is destroyed and when Yahawashi comes, because we got the script, we got the movie script, and it ain't going to be, it wasn't rewritten over and over again to suit the mindset of the Edomite. No, the scriptures are not going to be manipulated to say, oh, look, Esau does win. We do all come together as one, hand in hand, joining hand together, and we beat the aliens, and we take their technology and we turn it into something that we can use, like in the movie Independence Day Resurgence. They had used the old technology from the first movie, and then they basically retrofitted it to the old shit that they got in America. So instead of having propellers, then they got these hyper drives and all this other shit. You know, nah, Jack, you ain't gonna listen. When you see the fathership, coming, then you know it's the interview, man. Straight up, man. This is because a lot of people have a misconception of how Yahawashi is coming back. They think Yahawashi is coming back like this. Right? This guy, he don't have no armada. This guy right here, he don't have no armada. He don't have no legions of angels. This guy right here, he just be walking on the beach in a silhouette with a silhouette behind him in Greek and Roman clothes, barefooted heathen, walking around with looking like the quintessential white man, like this nigga right here. Nobody's scared of this guy. He ain't gonna put fear in nobody's heart. You jakes, you fall right down to the ground. Oh, my Jesus, my Jesus, my Jesus. The so-called white man fall to this guy's feet. This dude, he's not coming back with anger in his heart. This nigga loves everybody. This is blasphemous, man. This guy right here. The nigga you've been looking at in your kitchen for the last 30 years with the grease stain on the back of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But yet his skin stays pearly white and his hair is just perfectly curled and long, right? He just loves it. This nigga ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing. Yahawashi, on the other hand, he's coming back with anger, man. Isaiah 66:15 says, "For behold, Yahawashi will come with fire. He coming with the nuclear fire, the chariot fire, and his chariots. The chariots are the so-called UFOs, man. The chariots of Israel, like a whirlwind, to do what? To render his anger and with fury, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh Bashem plead with all flesh." That means judge. "And the slain of Yahweh Bashem shall be many." This guy right here, he ain't killing nobody. This guy right here, he not putting nobody to death. This nigga right here, this devil, this Edomite right here, what is he coming to do? He coming like Creed, with arms wide open, under street lights. Nah, nigga, fuck out of here, bro. This dude, he ain't angry about shit. This dude, he just want to float in his Greek garments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the brother said right here. Let me get that. right here. Emmanuel Hernandez. Again, it's the Lord's movie, and they don't win. The nations don't win. The Israelites will get the victory at the end. And really, the elect of Israel, start with the elect of Israel, is going to get the victory. We already got the victory through Yahawashi. See, that's the thing that they don't realize. What you're watching is people playing out their roles in a movie where the ending is already predicted. You ain't got to bet on it. It ain't no long shot. No, Esau wins, Jacob loses. That's nothing but Satan. Hey, nothing but Satan, yeah. Esau is Jacob wins and Esau loses. Esau loses, Jacob wins. Though a man slipped in his tongue, yet not in his heart. You know what I'm saying? No, Esau, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You have nothing. You have nothing on this planet. Nothing coming out of the spirit world to help you. You're gonna lose, man. You lose, we win. Like my man, Willy Wonka said, man, this is my favorite scene in this movie. "Good day, sir." Right here.
Mr. Wonka?
I am extraordinarily busy, sir.
I just wanted to ask about the chocolate. The lifetime supply of chocolate for Charlie. Well, when does he get it?
He doesn't.
Why not?
Because he broke the rules.
And that's what Esau did. He broke the rules. You don't get nothing. You broke the rules.
What rules? We didn't see any rules, did we, Charlie?
Wrong, sir. Wrong. Under Section 37B of the contract signed by him, it states quite clearly that all offers shall become null and void if, and you can read it for yourself in this photostatic copy, I, the undersigned, shall forfeit all rights, privileges, and licenses herein and herein contained, etc., etc. Fax mentis incendium gloria culpum, etc., etc. Memo bis punitor delicatum. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
That's right, man. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. That's it, man. You fuckers ain't. Come on, bro. They done told you wrong. Somebody done told you wrong, Esau. Somebody done told you wrong. You know what I'm saying? You get nothing. You lose. Right? You stole the Israelites. You enslaved them. You took their land. You killed them. You blasphemed the spirit of the holy. You blasphemed the name and the Holy Spirit of Yahawashi. You destroyed. You killed. Destroyed. You did all of those things and so much more. I can't even list your offenses. So when the Lord come back, it's over for you, homie. Right? Isaiah 63. And I ain't this is spirit, bro, because I didn't even Oh yeah, I was looking for this, but the points in 4, we're gonna start at 1. The Most High's vengeance on the nations. So these nations, while they're clicking up, trying to get together, they're fighting each other. They're still trying to click up in the background, right? The vengeance of the Lord is coming. Sloppy. Just bear with me, brothers. Sloppy.
I'll be right in there.
Oh shit. So Isaiah 63 says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak righteousness, mighty to save. Right. So Yahawashi, he's coming from Edom. He's going in modern day Edom is America. Right. It says, wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth the wine fat? I've trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain my raiment. So this is all parabolical, because he's not going to have no blood on his beautiful garments. His feet ain't going to be stained with the blood of the Edomites like that. But it represents the destruction of the Edomites and the other nations, right? Why is he doing this? Verse 4, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. So Yahawashi, he want to get that. They don't show that. They don't push that image, right? Again, they always make this guy named Jesus. He just loves everybody. He ain't angry as shit. He just lets you do what you want. He just begging you so that you can accept him. He's begging you so you can accept him. You know what I'm saying? It says in the NLT, but the time has come for me to avenge. Oh man, this is cool right here. Let's read it again. Slocky, brother. Hold on. Check this out. Let me read this again. In the NLT, for the time has come for me to avenge my people, to ransom them from their oppressors. So this is what Yahawashi is coming to do, man. See, you, the Edomites, they were worried about us bucking up against them and, trying to come and fight them and tear them up because they were scared. They still scared. But we ain't got to do that. Yahawashi is going to do it. That's his role. His role is to avenge his people. Scripture says, vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So it says, for the time has come to what? To avenge my people. Not all nations, no. To avenge my people. To ransom them from their oppressors, man. Who are our oppressors? Esau, Edom, the banking elite families, their ilk on down, the other nations. They're our oppressors, man. And even 2/3 right now, they're aligned with these devils, oppressing the Lord's chosen. In the AMP, for the day of vengeance against ungodliness, which you nations, you're all ungodly, was in my heart, and my year of my redemption of those who put their trust in me. That's the elect. In the year of my year of redemption of those who put their trust in me, the year of my redeem has come. That's the elect, man. We just said that through the Spirit, man. I didn't read this. I didn't read this beforehand, but the Spirit of the Lord is feeding us. And so we getting it. You see? That's heavy, man. So for anybody that think that Yahawashi is coming back with arms wide open like Creed, like this nigga, like this devil, you got something wrong with you, man. This guy is never coming back because this guy right here was never here. The one you call the guy you call Jesus, Cesare Borgia, the white man, so-called white man. This guy, he never existed. Yahawashi exists. This guy, he took the image, he covered the image of the true power, Yahweh, Bashim Yahawashi. He covered the image of his people. And they had you people stuck in this delusion. That's all this is. This shit is nothing but a strong delusion. A lie. This is a lie. Yahawashi would never come from the skies with baby, butt naked angel babies with a shirt wide open like he just came off a pedal binge, man. Absolutely not, man. This is all blasphemy right here. All of this is blasphemous right here. None of this shit right here never happened. Like this out of some freaky Edomite mind right here. That's what this shit is. And he ain't coming back to do nothing but be destroyed, the Edomites. Right? So this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13. Start at 1. Then we'll get out of here. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Those are the angels, man. Because he ain't coming back by himself. He coming back with Michael, the archangel. He coming back with all of them, man. Everybody getting a piece of this, man. You ain't never going to forget this day, ever. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him, got scared. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men of number from the four winds of the heavens to subdue that man that came out of the sea. Not out of those seas that's in the waters that we see, but out of the heavens. That's a sea too. Right? I'm going to read this in a GNT. 2nd Ezra 13 and 15. I'm sorry, 13 and 5. 2nd Ezra 13 and 5 in a GNT. I looked again and saw, it says, I looked again and saw a crowd. I looked again and saw a crowd too large to count, because that's all the militaries. They were people gathered together from all parts of the world to do what? To fight against the men who had come out of the sea. That's Yahawashi. They try to fight against Yahawashi, bro. These people are crazy, right? And it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men of the number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Right, and then verse 6 says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So that was a large chariot, man. Similar to this image that we see, this similar. It ain't it, but that movie from ID4. Right here. Oh, this is perfect. This image right here, man. You couldn't see where it began or where it ended at. It just took over the whole cloud, man. And it's just this not even a father ship. This is a smaller ship. Now you got an image right here. This is from Resurgence. And they show you in their movies that how Yahawashi is coming, right? They show you here, like you had the chariots already out hovering outside Earth atmosphere or up in Earth atmosphere. And Esau don't have a fallen chariot that he been trying to retrofit to make work according to his will. You know, he don't have no secret alien angel technology. Yeah, he don't have no secret angel technology. He don't have that. Even though he's working with angels on the left-hand side, them demons, they ain't give him this. Absolutely not. No, he ain't got it. Right? In verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, yes, there's fight. So they were scared when they saw Yahawashi, as they should be. And they're gonna still fight, because the Lord gonna put the spirit on them to do so, but they ain't gonna do nothing. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he needed to lift. Matter of fact, in this movie Independence Day, ID4 plane scene. There's a scene where they show all these different planes headed here, the final attack. You see all these different fighter jets going to fight against the chariots and the angels in the chariots, man. And he got this dude talking about something. He has a nuclear bomb or a missile, and he goes up talking about something. I'm back, and he destroys the chariot. Him, this little old plane and this little old missile went up inside a chariot and blew it up, and then they won. That's not going to happen. Ain't no final attack, because your attacks ain't going to work. They ain't going to work, right? So it says, and lo, as he saw, and they're not going to be proud. No, Will Smith ain't going to be smoking some cigar after he done punched an angel on the head and knocked him out for 3 hours. That's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen, right? Will Smith ain't going to save you niggas. In fact, Will Smith's ass going to die too. How about that? That closeted rainbow man, he's going to die too. Filthy ass nigga, right? That's not my pride. And lo, he, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lift up his hand, nor held a sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. That's what's coming out of the chariots, right? And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, the great tempest, and fell with violence upon a multitude, a big fire, chariot, laser beam, wiped their ass the hell up out of there, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon of a sudden of the innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only what? Dust and the smell of smoke. So he straight Thanos them. He made them turn into ashes, all of that. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterward, I saw the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him, excuse me, other peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through the great fear, and I was awakened. When we verse 13 in GMT. It says, verse 12, then I saw a man come down from the mountain and call another large crowd to come to him. This was a peace-loving crowd. This is the elect, right? All sorts of people came because they got the elect from out of all nations coming, because they're Israelites, but they look like the other nations. Some of them were happy, some were sad, some of them had their hands and feet tied, and some brought others as gifts to the Lord. I was so frightened that I woke up and I prayed to the Most High and said, right? So yeah, man. This you're not gonna beat Yahawashi, right? Your overconfidence, right? Your inferior technology, your inferior thoughts, you're not gonna win, man. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna beat Yahawashi. You ain't gonna have no more independence. Your independence is over. 2 Ezra 16 is from the brother Jim and salvation of the elect. 2 Ezra 16 and 11. The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. There it is, man. Habakkuk 3 and 4, same brother, shalom to you. In his brightness, oh, I'm sorry, 3, yeah. In his brightness was as a light. He had horns coming out of his hands. Those are laser beams. And there was the hiding of his power, man. So he gonna really be on some super X-Men type stuff, man. Yahawashi he coming with them powers, man. Y'all about to see it. We all about to see it. Lord, when we part of the elect, man. Right? So this has been Esau will not win against Yahawashi. Hope you were edified. If any of you brothers are edified, 24 people on here, if you were edified by this lesson, please put a 1 up. Just put a 1. You ain't got to say much. Just put a 1 for those that were edified. If you weren't edified, just put a 2 and don't watch no more. Okay, but put a 1 if you were edified. If you understood the topic, you understood the explanation, you understood the breakdowns. Just put a 1, brother. That's all you got to do. Hey, the water, man. The water Yahawashi on shot. So with that, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem, Wahal Kakadash. Them honor to the apostles and the bishop elders, a great millstone, the sight chicks to the elect. Keep pushing, keep striving. We almost out of here. Hey, shalom, brothers. Shalom.